I want to switch gears and talk about what seems to be like the topic du jour, which is NFTs, non-fungible tokens. Last year, I think it was September, I wrote this thing publicly just saying, hey, look, I think digital art is going to be bigger than traditional art. It's very similar to kind of Bitcoin versus gold. The digital version is going to be bigger than the analog version. That may seem crazy today, but see you in 20 years and we'll see what happens type situation. As you can imagine, literally got laughed out of the room. Fast forward to today, and I'm actually even thinking to myself, well, wait a second, like maybe I was archaic in my thinking of just comparing digital art to traditional art, because it seems like NFTs are taking on a life of its own. There's all these different implementations, like it's much, much bigger than just digital art. So what is your kind of thought process, and maybe at a high level, just like when you think of NFTs today, why do you think that is interesting or valuable?
Yeah, so I think of NFTs sort of, through the lens of the ownership economy thesis, right? So again, the idea that, in the future, the next big products on the internet are going to be built, operated, and owned by the users. And, when you think about media on the internet today, every day billions of images, videos, songs are shared on social media platforms. What's interesting about what's actually happening there is creators of those media files, they're essentially uploading the files to Facebook, to Twitter, to Instagram. And what's happening is they're copying and pasting the file from their computer to the servers of those companies. And along with the file, they also copy and paste ownership of the file itself. And that's because somewhere along the way in the terms of service, you agreed, when I upload stuff, you guys can monetize it how you see fit, right? So that's what's allowed the platforms that are dominant today to capture so much of the value that their users create. What's different about NFTs is it sort of inverts the ownership model of media, where it allows creators to own their media in the same way they can own a Bitcoin. You can now own like a digital media asset in the same way you own a digital currency asset. And that is directly without any third party in between. And so as a result, creators are going to start to capture much more value directly by people buying their work. And so, I think the reason why you gravitated towards digital art is it's the most obvious example. It functions sort of similar to the way the traditional art market works, but that's just never been possible on the internet to date, where everyone rents access to Spotify, rents access to Patreon. Now you're actually able to own content from the creators that you like. And that's kind of important because it aligns incentives between creators and collectors, where, if you actually own a collector's work or a creator's work, you're kind of incentivized to help them grow their profile. You want to see them succeed because that has direct, consequences for the value of the work that you own, which, you can later resell. So I sort of refer to this concept as patronage plus, where, in the internet to date, you've been able to patronize creators and pay them a monthly subscription on Substack or Patreon, but you've not been able to actually realize any financial benefit from doing so. And it's not the case that everyone is in it to make money, but it's certainly the prospect of being able to profit from patronizing an artist is a strong incentive to become a patron in the first place. And that's why I think this, we're going to start seeing this market grow really, really quickly, because it aligns incentives between creators and their audience in a better way than Web2 platforms have been able to. And beyond art, I think this medium opens up to every piece of media on the internet. It's memes, it's digital assets for games, it's collectibles like NBA Top Shot. I used to collect basketball cards as a kid, so the fact that these are digital is amazing, and that means you can do more with them, right? So critical thing is, unlike paintings, unlike basketball cards or toy figures, these are programmable assets, and they're assets that live on open blockchains that anyone can program. So just like anyone can build on top of the Bitcoin network, anyone can build on top of an NFT on an open blockchain and give it more utility, right? So a developer can build an application where I can bring my digital art to it and display it, or I can bring my game asset from game to game and have it function in different ways that make it more valuable. So today, the baseline is I collect this stuff because I like it. I think it's interesting. I think it's valuable. I might be able to resell it for more. Tomorrow, it's I collect this stuff because it's mine, and developers are building stuff to make it more have more utility and more interesting. And so developers are going to have to start catering to users and creators to get them to mint stuff and bring their stuff to the platform, as opposed to platforms today locking your stuff in for them to monetize. And I think that's, that inversion is pretty powerful.